Good evening, St. Louis, and welcome into Chaifetz Arena. I'm Matthew Rocchio. That is Eric Sontag, and we are the Billikens Central Postgame as the Billikens come away with a huge win. Their first real test of the season, and they come away with a big win. They take down GCU 78-64. A lot to talk about in this one, Eric. I'm not even sure what the betting angle was on this one, but a lot to talk about. Your first thoughts?
Yeah, my lean on the game was the Billikens to cover, and that they did. I think the last sentence of my article on stlsportscentral.com was expected to be tight first half, and then the Billikens pull away and end up covering. That's exactly what happened. Defense was phenomenal tonight, and the two players that stood out the most on the court to me, Amari McCottry, and I got to take your phrase, bad Dion Brown, the baddest guard in the whole damn town. 15 rebounds for Dion Brown. Amari goes for 20 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. I thought they were both involved in the couple biggest stretches of the game. Really, at the end of the first half, Amari he attacks the paint, he scores to get that 2-for-1. He gets a steal and a layup, and that stretches out a 5-point lead up to 9 at the half. Huge moment in the game. Then an even bigger moment, a 7-0 run to start the half for Grand Canyon to cut the lead to 2. SLU calls a timeout, and then coming out of the timeout, Sharma, pretty quiet tonight, but hits a big 3 to stop the run. Dion Brown, he gets the board on the other end. He saves it falling out of bounds. The ball goes up to McCottry. He gets a layup. SLU ends up going on an 11-0 run. The lead is back up to 13, and the game is essentially over. So just this team, they have the spurt ability, and we saw it on display, especially in that second half.
Yeah, absolutely. That second half was incredible. Let's see what the actual numbers finished as for Grand Canyon, because I tweeted it out at one point. Grand Canyon was shooting 20% for the game, or 25% for the game, and 19% for the second half. So they finished the game with 28% from the field. They shot 26% in the second half, 9 for 34. An incredible defensive performance for the Billikens in the second half, especially when you see the mistakes they were making in the first half. I mean, wide open shooters, communications, switches, big mistakes, a lot of fouls in the defending, just nothing what we saw in the first half told us that we were going to see that level of dominance. Now, GCU didn't shoot great in the first half, 30%, but I don't think we expected to see a half where they made less than double-digit field goals. It was an absolutely impressive defensive performance by the Billikens in the second half.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Some of this is GCU just had an off night for the field. That's going to happen. But SLU's defensive intensity, much improved in the second half. We see it game after game that SLU wears teams down with this depth that they have. I know the stat that we see. I mean, obviously they hold Grand Canyon to 64 points. But Josh Schertz talks about points per possession a lot. And if you could hold teams under 1, that's great. If you could hold teams to under 0.9, you're going to win almost every single game. Grand Canyon ends with the points per possession of 0.89. And the Billikens win the game easily, offensively, very efficient for SLU. They end with 1.08 points per possession. That's the recipe. This game, it looks closer than it actually was, because I think it was, around 25 points or so. Yeah. And then you get the walk-ons come in, and then the margin gets a little bit closer. I did see SLU moved up in KenPom from 68 to number 60. Would have been even higher had they, won by the mid-20s. But great to see that help the metrics tonight in KenPom.
A star-studded cast was here to watch this game. About 10 feet from us right now, as we do this post-game, is Indiana Fever star Sophie Cunningham. So, the crowd was out here today. She is in a GCU gear, but I want to make sure everyone knows this post-game brought to you by our good friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook and, of course, our friends at Home Bank. And let's go ahead and get into it right now. You kind of already talked about it, Eric. What would be our Home Bank money moment of the game? So before we talk about what the money moment of the game was, I want to tell everyone about Home Bank. Of course, this Billikens postgame was brought to you by our business banking partners at Home Bank. From business lending to everyday banking, Home Bank has been with us since day one as a trusted partner. Business is not just about numbers, it's about relationships. And with Home Bank, those relationships make all the difference. Home Bank is the team behind our team at STL Sports Central. Visit myhomebank.bank or call 855-577-2001. That's Home Bank, member FDIC, more than a bank. They're your business partner. So, if we have to talk about who made our money moment of the game, I think you locked in on Eric Sontag. The one that I'm going to point out is the Amari McCottry and Dion Brown one. There are players of the game, so I'm going to run with what you were going to run with. Amari McCottry hits a circus layup, one of multiple he hits in the second half. Dion Brown then saves the ball from falling out of bounds. The next possession somehow is able to corral it and send it back into the court. The Billikens come down, set up another post up for Dion Brown, ISO'd low, and he pulls a great up and under move to get another two, and the Billikens never looked away from that point. That is our money moment of the game. Amari McCottry and Dion Brown, they're going to share that one because it was an incredible game by both those guys.
Boy, it really was. And, we talked about the depth in the team. They've had 6 players averaging in double figures so far this season. Only 2 guys made it to double figures tonight. Amari with 20. Robbie quietly had a very good game with 14 points. He's been very, very quiet, but not in it's not like he's doing much wrong. It's just there's so many weapons on this team where last year you had the big 3 for most of the season with Swope and Jimerson and Robbie. And if one of them was off, it really hurt the team. This year, there's just so many dudes. Thames only with 2 points tonight, banged up. We hope he's okay. I'm sure we'll check on him. I mentioned to you in a text earlier today about Paul Otieno. I needed this to be a Paul Otieno game. Really had some great moments. Oh, yeah. We had a half from him. He had 3 blocks, a couple dunks. Yeah, he ends with 7 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 blocks. I think, he doesn't need to be the guy for this team, so he's definitely contributing to that depth. I thought he was a very good contributor, especially in the second half tonight.
Yeah, and you really look at the minute breakdown. He only played 9 minutes in the first half, only finished the game with 21 minutes, but shows you he played about 12 minutes of the second half, and really just 2 points, 2 rebounds on 1 of 3 from the field in the first half. In the second half, 5 points, 4 boards, 3 blocks, 2 of 2 from the field, also hit a free throw. Just a completely full line for Paul Otieno. His defense was a huge game changer. We were talking in the second half. He hasn't looked completely comfortable. He hasn't looked like the dominating player he was at Quinnipiac at times last year, but he stepped in. He found his defensive niche in this second half, and it was exactly what the Billikens needed. Paul protected the paint. Amari guarded the best player on the court for GCU, Owasu Anane, and then Makai Williams, who was having the best game tonight, was being guarded by Dion Brown. He had a very solid 7 points, 2 assists in the first half. And then he went 1 for 11 from the field in the second half, primarily being guarded by Dion Brown. Just in every way, shape, and form, this was a Paul, Amari, and Dion game.
It was, yeah. Otieno ends second on the team in rebounds with his 6. Obviously, Dion with his 15, leading the team. 5 of those were offensive rebounds. Another big key in the game. Last year, the loss to Grand Canyon, SLU got crushed on the glass, 44-34. Grand Canyon they've been good on the boards again so far this season. They started today 32nd in the country in rebounding percentage. GCU did win the battle on the offensive glass, 15-10, but overall, SLU wins the rebounding battle 45-39. It's really huge against a team like this. I really think they just imposed their will on Grand Canyon and just really broke that team in the second half.
Yeah, to your point, they are just able to lean on teams. Things may be getting a little bit clearer. Quentin Jones, a lot of struggles today. He had a lot of bad turnovers. He was in foul trouble early, only plays 18 minutes. Like you said earlier, Kellen Thames plays just 11. Brady Dunlap with 14. We're starting to see maybe a little bit of the stratification of this 9-man rotation. First 3 games, 8 guys were playing strong. 1 guy would drop back. And now we're kind of seeing a little bit. I wonder if it continues. Obviously, the big question now is kind of everything leading up to the Santa Clara matchup.
Yeah, and I think I'm curious whether the minutes distribution that we saw tonight, I could be wrong, but I think it's almost like a hot hand perspective. Who's got it that night? You know what I mean? And so, Trey Green, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the plus-minus stat. Brown at 29 minutes, Amari at 28, Robbie at 26. Those were your minutes leaders. I really think it's just going to depend game by game. Let's see who's got it, and you go with obviously the matchup of what the other team's strengths are. And that's the thing, when you can go 9 deep like this with really 9 guys that could all start, you can really just mix and match depending on what is working that evening.
It's incredible how much Amari McCottry has grown. You saw him in the Arkansas State game in the NIT, and he was incredible. We saw him a few nights ago setting a new career high, but again, the talent level was so much different. It's hard to know what to take from some of those games. Tonight, GCU is a team that's made 4 tournaments in the last 5 years. And Amari McCottry, taking away the fact that we know Robbie is the best player on this team, Amari McCottry was the best player on this court tonight. And that is not nothing. That says a lot for his growth. It says a lot for the ceiling of this Billiken teams this year.
Yeah, my God, he just looks so strong this year. He doesn't look like a freshman anymore. He looks like a dude put on some muscle. He looks unstoppable when he goes to the rim. And I love that SLU, they just really take what the defense gives them. I know their goal. They want to get to the rim and then make good rim decisions, is how Josh Schertz phrases it. And I love that. You know, whether you're going to go to the rim and try and finish or kick it out for a good shot. You know, how about the free throws? Oh my God, like how much less stressful is our lives this year? They go 14-17 from the line tonight. That's 82% for the game. And if I'm not mistaken, they're still over 80% for the season. So that has just been a huge, because these games, we're going to have close games and free throw shooting is going to matter. And I know a lot of that last year had to do with Kulania getting a lot of free throws. We're obviously not going to see that this year, but there's just so many positives.
Amari McCottry going 4 for 6 tonight is a huge part of that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, he was the he missed 2 free throws and Otieno missed 1. Yeah, everybody else was perfect from the line. So this is coming together. The turnovers is still the big thing you got to clean up.
18 tonight.
Yeah,
still bad.
And not just the number, but the turnover percentage. I know Schertz wants them to be at 17%. 25% tonight was the turnover percentage.
Ooh,
so, yeah, the SLU came into the game ranking 276th in the country in turnover percentage, 20.5%. That just got worse tonight. So that is still the thing that really just keeps rearing its ugly head, and you hope it doesn't come back to bite them at some point soon.
Well, you know what's not going to rear its ugly head anymore, Eric Sontag? That is these unfortunate situations we're dealing with in Missouri, because we're past the November 17th date, which means you can now create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. It's tomorrow. My apologies. I'm jumping ahead. It's Monday. My apologies. I was getting so excited. On Monday, it opens up. That's when things finally get going here in Missouri. Missouri, you got to get ready because the wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now, and when they go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, that's on Monday. You can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting with the Sportsbook app trusted by millions, safe, secure, and has fast money withdrawals. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Again, all of that starts on Monday, November 17th. We're under 36 hours now away from that. Eric Sontag, before we close things out, closing thoughts from a huge win for the Billikens.
I mean, this is really what you wanted to see tonight, where they're going to get really the first big test. They don't get a lot of these tests where they're up against a big boy team in the non-conference. So they passed the first test with flying colors. You got Purdue, Fort Wayne coming up next on Friday. Ken Palms projects it as a 90-70 win for SLU, so they're going to be favored by about 20 in that game. But yeah, then Santa Clara on Thanksgiving. Ken Palm has it projected as an 82-81 win for SLU. So that is the next big test. And then obviously you'll have the game the following day against either Minnesota or Stanford. But I think this team was chomping at the bit tonight. They wanted a step up in the competition. They got it. And man, they just crushed it tonight.
As Eric said, the Billikens aced their first test of the season. They have improved to 4-0 on the year. They have Purdue Fort Wayne coming on Friday. We'll be right here live after the game on Billikens Central Postgame. And then, of course, the big game coming up on the non-conference schedule. It's Santa Clara and St. Louis on Thursday, November 27th, 6 p.m. on CBS Sports Network. Where will we be? Right here after the game on Billikens Central Postgame. That's Eric Sontag. I'm Matthew Rocchio for our wonderful sponsors at Home Bank and DraftKings Sportsbook. This has been the Billikens Central Postgame. Have a great night, St. Louis.